Hey guys, I'm Rich from NeoWin. Today we're talking about Windows 10 Mobile build 14332. Right? It's getting hard to keep up with these build numbers these days. So first of all, you notice that I used to have 7 phones sitting in front of me. Now there's 5. I decided it's best to keep one on the slow ring, one on the release preview ring to keep up with stuff. For those that follow along. So there's a few new features in this build. Now they released it for PCs and mobile. And as usual, most of those features are for PCs. So there is one thing that I really wanted to talk about today, though. It's battery life. It's the feature that's not in the release notes, and it's the one that we all wanted for a long time. So this Lumia 950 hasn't been on the charger since last night. It's been at least 24 hours since it's been on the charger, at least. And I didn't see this coming, and I haven't been using it either. There is a SIM card in it. It is on Wi-Fi. And it's at, looks like about 85% battery. So any other build, even the stable production ring builds, it would be dead by now, or nearly dead. The fact that it's still nearly full is pretty remarkable, and it's actually pretty unprecedented. So I think it's really exciting. So let's actually take a look at this build. You know, one thing they do say in the release notes is improved battery life for connected standby PCs. We've integrated the same underlying technology that Battery Saver uses to quiet down some of the less valuable activity that occurs during connected standby while still keeping your PC connected to the internet and allowing key connectivity scenarios to work. As a result, if you're using a Surface or other connected standby PC, many of you will notice improved and more consistent standby battery life. So I don't know. I have to believe that this affects mobile as well, because this is unprecedented standby battery life that I'm getting from this Lumia 950 here. Even on any of the 10586 builds with firmware updates, I got battery life was nothing like this. You leave it alone for 24 hours and it's just dead. So whatever it is, it's a welcome change. So the other thing that may apply to mobile, although it says PC, Cortana can now search Office 365. On your PC, Cortana can now search your content in Office 365, including your emails, contacts, calendar, as well as files in OneDrive for Business and SharePoint. So Cortana is really one thing across devices, so I say it should work on mobile as well. The only problem is that it only supports Office 365 work or school accounts. Now that's just frustrating because it's something that we're seeing more and more frequently across a lot of apps that require an Office 365 sign in. And I don't understand why, because I mean I pay $100 a year for Office 365 Home, and while it is a great deal, I don't see why that's not enough to get to have this thing integrate with Cortana. So I really can't try this feature and see how it works. Now, there were originally server-side issues that were forcing this issue not to work. They should be up now. So if you do have an Office 365 work or school account and you would like to try out this feature, you should now be able to. So you notice, by the way, we haven't seen an app crash yet. Normally, when I do a video about a mobile build, the apps just crash. There's always something that goes wrong. You notice some apps are grayed out, listed as pending. You should be able to click on them, go right to the store, and install them again. Right? Really, the big deal about this is just battery life, because this is something that I had never experienced. I know it's crazy to say. I mean, I've had this thing on stable builds for a long time while I was really using it as a daily driver when it first came out. And really just everything loads well. I believe this is going to be a slow ring candidate, and we can just kind of flip through things here. All right, but we do have fixes and known issues. All right, there's a long list of fixes. We've made improvements to the Share UI for Cortana reminders. The experience is much more polished now. We fixed an issue where a press and hold on the camera quick action and action center wouldn't do anything. Now it launches the camera app. We fixed an issue resulting in the Lumia 435, 432, 535, 532, 535, and 540 being able to take photos with the camera app. Now that was a big deal, if you guys recall. On the 2 builds ago, the 535 and I guess other phones as well, wouldn't allow you to open the camera. It would give you an error. And other builds, I guess the most recent one, it would just give you a green screen. So that's fixed now. We fixed an issue where typed text would be invisible in Cortana when the OS was set to light mode under settings, personalization, colors. We fixed an issue with the Italian keyboard where certain words would get auto-capitalized after a comma, acting as it would if it was a period instead. Improve the performance of opening settings, update security for developers. We fixed an issue where Cyrillic characters would be in lowercase and list headers. We fixed an issue where pulling your headphones out to answer a call would result in the music playing out loud once the call had ended. For phones that support adjusting the brightness automatically, the setting will now be enabled by default after a restore or hard reset. We can now set the time for how long it should be for Windows to require you to sign in again via settings account sign-in options with Windows Hello setup. We fixed an issue that blocked you from renaming your device. We fixed an issue where the lock screen quick status numbers might appear drawn under the navigation bar. Now let's try a few of these out, because if you watch the hands-on video with messaging everywhere or messaging anywhere, messaging everywhere, you notice that I attempted to rename my device because I wanted to demonstrate that you can select between two Windows phones to send text messages from your PC, and I wasn't able to do it properly because both of my phones were called Windows phones. So I attempted to rename my device, but it just wouldn't let me. So I'd like to see that it works now. So let's just close this out. Let's just call it Lumia 950. All right, and here we go. And we can change the name of our phone. So that's a great fix, because that was one that you've seen me on camera have that problem. So it's great to show that it's fixed. So settings, update, and security for developers. That was another one that we've had problems with, because that's an area where I spend a lot of time changing settings around and stuff. So they improved the settings here. By the way, it's interesting that it's set to Windows Store apps, because as of the November update, sideload apps should have been the default, but that might have only been for PCs. If anybody knows what the deal is with that, I'd be interested to know. So anyway, known issues. Speech packs were unable to be downloaded. However, language packs for keyboards should download without any issues. We have identified the issue and working to get it fixed out as soon as possible. Now, this was an issue with phones where if you have a phone that's from another region, it has to download another language for Cortana, and it wasn't downloading. Normally, it would send you to settings, but with newer builds, it actually lets you just do it automatically, but it's still not downloading. Feedback Hub is not localized, and the UI will be in English US only even with language packs installed. When you navigate to your camera roll directly from the camera app, it may crash. To view the photos taken with your camera app, go directly to the Photos app instead to avoid the crash. This was an issue that we've had a while ago. I thought it was fixed at some point, may have come back actually. But this is, well, didn't crash, but I do know people who have had this particular problem in earlier builds, and it can be frustrating. All right, so next up, you may receive 0x8004C029 errors when attempting to play Groove Music Pass content in Groove Music. So yeah, DRM content. So if you're a Groove Music user and all you have is a Windows phone, you might not want to play this, or you might not want to install this build. If you have previously played DRM protected content from services like Groove Music, Movies and TV, Netflix, Amazon Instant Video, or Hulu, after updating to this build, you might no longer be able to play back content from those services. You will instead receive error DRM invalid secure store password or DRM domain store get data. We are working to have this fixed in the near future. So a lot of issues with playing back content. Interesting thing about the Groove Music one though is the last build said that you couldn't play back Groove Music if you tried to do it within 2 minutes of setting up of starting up your PC. So looks like it's just anytime now. I who knows. So your phone will lock up and reboot when it receives a notification from an app that has keep notifications private on the lock screen turned on under settings, system notifications and actions. This is particularly painful. They actually use the word painful in known issues.
if you have this turned on for the messaging app and could result in the loss of text messages. If you have this turned on for specific apps, it is recommended you turn it off until we fix this issue. Or you could skip this build, which I'm surprised they didn't recommend. There's a bug we're investigating that prevents some apps, such as Tweetium, from launching. All right, so we could actually try that because Tweetium is a Twitter client that I use, and I can tell you that I have had this issue. So let's just try that. And will it launch? No, last time it was when I tried to go to my notification. Oh, there it goes. All right, so the settings app may crash when you are rearranging quick actions under settings, system, notifications, and actions. If it does, it could result in one of the quick action spots disappearing. If you see this happen, please refrain from changing your quick action settings on this build. If you have been impacted by this issue, only a hard reset will revert your quick action settings back by default. So let's give that a try. Okay, so we're going to try and rearrange the quick settings here. We'll move this down here. And everything seems to work fine. Nothing disappeared. All right. For users with some non-English keyboards, when typing into the address bar of the Edge browser, you will not be able to enter the following letters: W, Y, or A. The workaround is to type the letters using uppercase. I mean, you should really just look over this list of known issues because it may matter to you. It might not. And if it doesn't, then it's fine. I mean, because personally, I think this is a really good build. And I think it's going to be a slow ring candidate because it seems really stable to me with obviously some issues. But it's up to you. It's the fast ring, and you have to expect bugs. And even if it's good enough for you, the next build might not be stable enough for you. So anyway, guys, that's it. I'm Rich from NeoWin. Have a great night.